Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about core reasons a dismissive avoidant self-sabotages their relationships. And we're going to talk about why and some of the context, and then some things we can actually do to create change in this specific area. So before I dive in, we still have our With You promotion to support our community. This is for 25% off our 3, 6, and 12-month bundles. And this gives you access to everything. Basically, our 40 or so pre-recorded courses with like 15-page workbooks per course. All of our live webinars. I do 4 live webinars every single week with our community. And we have our attachment coaches running group masterminds, socials, morning and evening guided routines, all these different things. So you can check that out. Link in the description box below. Let's discuss this topic. So, first and foremost, I want you to imagine that you, as a human, because of the past experiences you go through, you get programmed with these key programs I'm going to mention. Number one, basically the idea that connection is scary and it makes you unsafe. And this is because the dismissive avoidant, they come into the world and we're wired biologically for attunement, for connection. And that really, what that means is presence from our caregivers tending to our feelings and needs, checking in with us when we cry, when we're upset, making space for our emotions to be talked about, to be shared, to not be diminished, repressed, or rejected. And when a child grows up in a home where, because of whatever number of reasons, there's some form of emotional neglect that doesn't allow that, basically this person grows up in their adult lives and all of their subconscious programmed associations are vulnerability is unsafe. I'm just going to be rejected anyways. It doesn't feel good. And then on top of that, because this child basically goes through a dynamic where, since we're wired biologically for connection, for attunement, and then it's basically rejected because the caregivers are emotionally unavailable for whatever number of reasons. A child's prefrontal cortex isn't developed enough to be able to like logically, rationally go, oh, my caregivers are emotionally unavailable. So instead, a child goes, oh, there must be something wrong with me. I must be defective. And as a byproduct of that, this person develops a huge core belief that they are defective, that like in who they are. And that often gets patterned in or programmed in at a very young age. And I want you to imagine that you are that child and you grow up and you go into life with this core belief that you are defective, that connection is unsafe, that you'll only be rejected when you're vulnerable, anyways. And it feels really bad to be that way. And then on top of that, you believe that people can't meet your emotional needs and only you are capable of doing that. And that we shouldn't be asking for our needs to be met from others because in your childhood and upbringing, you were made to feel that you can't ask for your needs. And so a child suffers through all of this first, believes these things at a subconscious level, because we see our reality through a filter of our past programs. Like, even if we're in the same objective reality, for example, we're not experiencing the same objective reality. We are experiencing a subjective interpretation of our reality based on this lens that contains, which is the lens being our subconscious mind, contains all these unique programs because of our past experiences. And so we see through that lens. And if your lens says vulnerability is unsafe, I am shameful at my core. And what does shame make you want to do? Think of when you feel ashamed. The first thing that the emotion of shame makes us want to do is hide, withdraw, protect. So, of course, we see some of the patterns as a dismissive avoidant that exist, keeping people at arm's distance so that you can't, let's pretend I'm not dismissive avoidant. You don't see that I'm defective at my core. I don't want to be seen too much by you. I'm just going to be rejected long term anyway. So I need to keep that distance to avoid rejection. It's unsafe to be vulnerable because when I tried to be vulnerable as a child, that was constantly shot down or rejected or shamed. So all of my programmed associations to that are not good. And then I also learned that the only way to feel safe is to meet my own needs, and that I don't ask for my needs to be met from others because that gets rejected too. So I have to be hyper independent to sort of cope through life. So imagining that you have all of those programs and those programs become this lens that you see and interact with the world through, I want you to then think of what it would feel like to go into a romantic relationship and then to develop strong feelings and then to not know because you have nothing to compare it to or hold it next to what it's like to be vulnerable and give and receive and feel comfortable doing that and open up and have positive built-in associations. That's like an unknown unknown. Like you don't even know that you don't know that. It's not like, oh, here's what it should look like. And I know that I haven't had that experience. It's like you don't even know that you don't know that, if that makes sense. Okay. So now this is your operating system. And of course, we see dismissive avoidance self sabotage because, as I was mentioning in the fearful avoidant part of this series, there's no actual such thing as self sabotage. Everything is just a subconscious strategy to get different needs met. So your conscious mind might say, I like this person. I love this person. I want to be in a romantic relationship with this person. But your subconscious mind might go, that was your conscious mind, by the way. I hope I said that correctly. And then your subconscious mind goes, no, this is unsafe. This is scary. This is going to cause a lot of pain. And now your conscious and subconscious have different intentions. And your conscious mind will always outwill or overpower your subconscious mind. It's just a matter of time. And so your conscious mind says, we're going to go this way. And your subconscious says, nope, we're going this way, back to safety, back to our comfort zone, back to what we know. And so we see self sabotage patterns, which are actually just limiting subconscious programs that were originally developed as coping strategies to deal with trauma in childhood. So, what do we do? So, what we learn to do is number one, stop reenacting these programs on ourselves because we tend to, if you believe that you're defective at your core, guaranteed you're telling yourself that story over and over again, which is actually firing and wiring that neural paradigm in that way that you will continue to perceive the world. And so we'll keep projecting that story onto our experiences and then believing other people think it about us when often it's just us telling that story about ourselves. And it's the way we're interpreting our circumstances because it's familiar, because it's part of our past. And so we repeat that cycle on autopilot without meaning to. And then also, whatever unmet needs we have from childhood, we keep not meeting in the relationship to ourselves. So then it becomes, oh, my unmet needs are, emotional support and closeness, and thinking that vulnerability is okay and comfortable and safe. And you didn't get that, so it's an unmet need, and then we keep emotionally neglecting ourselves because we have that emotional neglect. And so we have to change that pattern. And when we change that pattern in the relationship to ourselves first, we now have a new subconscious comfort zone. We fire and wire new patterns into that lens we perceive the world through. And now we want different things and we value different things. And now we're bringing our subconscious mind into alignment with our conscious goals or intentions. In this case, perhaps to have a healthy relationship. And now we have and create different outcomes. So I hope this all makes sense. Lots of info in there to unpack, but really important stuff. And stay tuned for the other parts of this series where I will talk about the different self-sabotaging patterns for different attachment styles. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you're getting a lot of value out of this channel. And I will see you in the next video.